Scratch me trailer. Oh, it goes from good to better.
Macca's been driving trucks for 30 years. The 52-year-old's speciality is moving expensive yachts from coast to coast. The hard way. Macca's been hired to deliver Allegria, a $300,000 lightweight racing yacht. She's agile, fragile, and to her owner, worth every cent. But she was never designed to be hauled through the guts of the Outback on the back of a truck. One loose stone, pothole, or one slip at the wheel is all it takes to turn this into this, as other boat truckers have discovered. It's a huge responsibility, and Macca's first job is to get one boat off his truck and Allegria on.
Okay, whenever you're ready, mate, it's looking good.
Lifting a yacht is always stressful.
I don't like this bit. Under here, I don't like this.
But Macca's supervised hundreds of lifts before.
Can you walk her forward, Mick, about 300?
It should be straightforward.
Okay, take her up.
But suddenly,
I don't think you're going to get enough height, mate.
the slings on the boat lifter are too long. While it's not his responsibility, Macca's kicking himself.
I should have looked at that. We'll get there.
We will.
Well, we've got to get there. Can't spend the rest of my life here.
Macca needs to unload this boat today, or he'll start his next run a full day behind schedule.
So what we're going to do is we're going to just lower back straight down, mate.
To shorten the slings, they'll have to lower the boat back down.
Just lower it down. Keep it going, mate.
But it must be put back in precisely the same position. If not, the stress on her hull could puncture it.
Got to go over that way, mate. If you can get her that way. Whoa.
The lift's going from bad
Hold it.
to worse.
No, it's not sitting level.
The 13-ton boat is leaning dangerously to one side.
No, don't do that.
He has a continent to cross, and Macca hasn't even left the yard.
Whoa. Right now, this shouldn't be happening.
He needs to carefully cradle the boat's weight
Keep going with it, mate.
before the crane that's holding it lets go.
We've got to undo the slings. So we've got to reprop it so it doesn't fall over, mate.
In 30 years, Macca's never damaged a boat. He's determined not to start now.
Oh, what a cluster.
Every support must be centimetre perfect.
Hold it.
Finally, the last wood block's in place.
Okay. Just start to lower it down for me, mate.
Now for the moment of truth.
What?
The boat's secure. With daylight fading, now Macca needs to move fast.
Got a bit on right now.
The straps need to be shortened and the boat lifted off his truck before dark.
All right, we can take him up there.
We're styling. We're in Queensland. The boat's off.
With minutes of daylight left, Macca's survived a shipwreck. Next morning, Macca needs to load his new passenger, Allegria, a $300,000 racing yacht. Adding to his stress, her owner has come to watch.
Don't drop it, Macca.
This is always the sweaty bit.
Allegria's solid 1-ton keel has already been loaded. Now Macca needs to carefully position the hull. It's made from lightweight carbon fibre. One mistake and it could crack like an egg.
Get you to travel her forward, say 300.
She's almost in position when Macca spots a problem.
We're not going to make it.
Allegria's bow is too close to the massive keel.
Nah, we're not going to make it.
She won't fit on the truck.
We got to bring her back to clear the bulb. Ready?
Macca and his team need to be accurate to the millimetre.
Yeah, that's a smaller one, Al. Her bum's that way and her bow's that way. If we come down, and then we'll push her. Okay. Keep coming. going. Okay, Nick. Up.
Allegria's on board,
That's her, boys.
but only just.
She's on. She's looking good.
With the mast also secured, Macca's truck's 25 metres long,
4.3.
metres high and almost 4 metres wide. With a load this size, Macca will need help. Over the next 7 days, pilot Andy will ride shotgun, managing traffic and watching Macca's load.
Nervy time right now. We've done about 15K. You think you got it right, you hope you got it right, and you're always looking for something to go wrong. How's that rig looking when it goes over those bumps, Andy?
It's wobbling a bit at the back, very back.
The uneven road surface is making Allegria's mast bounce, causing a problem.
We've lost a strap.
If the bouncing loosens another strap, Allegria could become dangerously unstable. Macca needs to stop,
I'm gonna get off this road.
but he's surrounded by heavy traffic on a narrow highway. Finally, there's a possibility ahead.
Well, I've got a base we can pull off about 500 metres up here. Shut it down for me, would you, Andy?
While Andy keeps traffic at bay, Macca can pull off the road. But a turn-off isn't an ideal stopping point.
I've got to be quick here because I've straddled a road, okay?
Macca needs to work fast. He doesn't want to put his truck or other drivers at risk.
This is the one that's loose. Padding must have collapsed. That's got him.
With Allegria secure, Macca can move on. But while one problem's behind him, another soon looms ahead. The Great Dividing Range, Australia's largest mountain range. Fully loaded, Macca's truck weighs 25 tonnes. A 10-kilometre climb will test his engine to the limit.
Turbo boosters at 200. Engine temps building up.
Fail, and Macca will be stranded on the side of a mountain.
That's full noise. Nothing left in it.
As he pushes to the top,
See how she's like losing power now?
his truck's got no more to give. Macca's crawling. But at last,
That's it, mate. That's the top. Okie-dokie. We'll have a bit of a look around here and make sure we still got all the bits attached.
after the tough climb, Macca wants to check the load. And the news isn't good.
Well, you can see how close we are here. That distance is halved.
Allegria's hull is inching forward. If Macca had gone much further, it could have smashed into the solid keel. There's only one solution: to lift the hull.
So I'm going to physically have to jack the front of the boat up.
Raising a boat is a delicate operation,
Go on, mate.
even with the best equipment. But in a remote, rainy truck stop, a car jack is all Macca has.
Let me know if it's going up, will you, Andy? Because I can't get the jack right in the centre of that splash. So as I lift the boat, it's going to want to do that a little bit. So I'll do that a bit, shock it, and then I'll go around the other side and do that a bit.
One slip, and he could punch a hole clean through his $300,000 load.
Done this with the boat. Got a little bit more clearance on the keel.
With one side raised, nearly all the boat's weight is resting on the other. If a strap lets go, Allegria risks sliding off the truck.
Because right now the boat's a little twisted.
Quickly, Andy and Macca need to raise the other side to level the boat.
A disaster averted.
With the bow clear of the keel, Macca can hit the road. The operation may have been a success, But the delay has given Macca another headache.
We're really running about an hour to an hour and a half behind where I was really hoping we were going to be.
And up ahead, he faces a whole heap of trouble. Torrential rain,
It's a little bit like being on marbles.
narrow outback roads,
It's the road's wet, the edges are soft, and you can slip and skid really easy,
and plenty of company.
especially if you jump on the brakes or something a bit quick. Bingo.
Ahead, there's another wide load.
Got to behave ourselves right here, right now. We don't want to make the 6 o'clock news.
But after surviving the hazards comes a hammer blow. A huge fire is wreaking havoc in the town centre.
No, that won't get us through either.
For Macca McCready, it means a route he's planned for months is blocked. Hauling a fragile racing yacht, Macca faces a big decision. Wait it out and risk his deadline, or take his huge freight through unknown back streets.
If they've got this closed off, we can chip through along Brady Street. We'll have a crack.
Macca's committed. Now there's no turning back.
I'm out of my oversized route, so we just let me concentrate on what I've got to do. Because I can swing a right and chip west on one of these smaller roads, okay?
Macca needs to thread his 25-metre truck through a maze of back streets. But the biggest danger lies overhead.
I'm looking below lines.
At 4.3 metres high, Allegria's dangerously close to power lines.
Built out of carbon fibre, so it's an amazing conductor.
Hit one, and thousands of volts could tear through Macca's rig. He needs to find the highway fast.
Route for heavy vehicles.
Macca's back on track, but the detours cost him.
Okay, we made it. We're on the main road through town now, so a little bit of a delay.
As an oversized load, Macca can't exceed 80 kilometres an hour, and he can only travel by daylight. On this run, any time lost is lost for good. And straight away, there's another problem. A strap holding Allegria's hull in place has come loose.
The next parking posse, buddy. We're going in and I've got to fix it, hey?
The only safe place to pull over is a saturated patch of dirt.
This ground is so soft once it gets rain on it.
With nearly 3,000 kilometres to cover in 3 days, Macca needs to get moving quickly.
And we'll fix that strap.
Or the only thing he'll be delivering to Allegria's owner is a big apology.
All right, mate, we're good. Alrighty.
To get out of the mud, he'll need help. But beggars can't be choosers.
See that four-wheel drive up there? We're gonna have to ask those guys if we can hook a chain on and just give us a bit of a hand to get moving.
It's down to a 2-ton car to haul 25 tons of truck out of the bog. If it can't, Macca will need a heavyweight tow truck, costing him more time and money.
Righto, mate, just ease it forward, nice and steady. That's it, buddy. Yeah, I got traction, I'm good.
He's out, but at a price.
And we're on our way, but we've lost some time today.
Macca badly needs to make up the lost time, but down the road, a fellow trucker's landed himself in the same trouble.
So let's see if we can help him out, eh? We might try.
And the double road train is seriously bogged.
Andy, you just talk to me about the traffic because I'm about to move across the road, all right?
Nothing coming at this stage, mate.
Out here, the rule of the road is to help a mate in need. But stopping now could put Macca's deadline and freight at serious risk.
Got a bit on, old mate. Get myself turned around, old mate, okay?
To tow the bogged rig, Macca needs to turn his truck around, all 25 metres of it, on the narrow highway.
Eastbound traffic, mate. You get your bat happening and you hold it up.
Okay, bro.
While pilot Andy stops traffic, Macca must steer off the road and into the mud. Get stuck now, and Macca's precious freight will block the entire highway. While he's made the turn, Macca's spotted another problem.
And we're just going to make sure as we pull him, his trailer's don't fall over.
The bogged road train is listing badly. At over 80 tonnes, it'll put a huge strain on Macca's rig. A single chain will take the full weight. If it breaks, the recoil could rip a gaping hole in Allegria's fragile hull.
If it goes off, it'll go off like a cannon.
In 30 years, Macca's never damaged a boat. Now he's risking everything to help a mate.
Now, we're broken. Have we broken something?
Luckily, the broken chain has missed Allegria's fragile hull.
Never a dull moment.
But with his chain unable to take the weight, there's nothing more Macca can do. The stranded trucker will have to wait for a tow truck.
Thanks, Andy. That's all good, mate.
Not a problem, mate.
With every minute of daylight precious, Macca needs to get on with the job.
And do what we're out here to do, which is transport boats.
After a hard day, Macca's still behind schedule, but for now, he must pull up for the night. Tomorrow's a chance to make up time on the dead flat, dead straight Nullarbor Plain. Just after dawn, Macca rolls out.
Hey, good to go, mate.
With his destination still 1,800 kilometres away, it's vital today's a clear run. But out of nowhere comes a dense bank of fog.
Fog is a potential stopper.
Suddenly, Macca is struggling to see the road hazards that lie ahead, and his 25-tonne truck needs hundreds of metres to stop.
Now I'm backing it off. I'm just losing a little bit too much visibility for this speed.
If the fog gets any worse, Macca will have no choice but to pull up, costing even more time and money.
If I stop the truck, it ain't moving, it ain't making a dollar, it's just costing.
He's slipping behind schedule yet again.
If it gets much thicker than this, yeah, I'll probably have to pull up.
A kilometre ahead, pilot Andy has news.
Starting to break up here, letting go.
Yeah, that's good news, mate. We just poke along steady till we pop out the other side.
As quickly as it swept in, the fog is gone. Macca's reward, a clear straight road, over 1,000 kilometres of it.
Head due west and head out across the Nullarbor.
Nullarbor means treeless.
Mother Nature decided she didn't want to put any trees out here.
It's barren, bleak and boundless. But out here, there is one sign of life. Caravans are a regular sight on this tourist route. They can be deadly. Sudden braking is the most common rookie mistake. Ahead, a driver spotted Macca in their mirrors and dropped their speed drastically.
Nah, see how up this is?
There's oncoming traffic. Macca can't overtake. The sudden move leaves Macca no choice. Thanks to his quick reflexes, this time it's just a near miss.
I'm not prepared to take the chance to scoot out around and bag him up. Would have been bad behaviour. So you never really get to relax, or if you do, you're tricking yourself.
Finally, there's smooth sailing ahead. Leaving the bush behind, Macca hits the city and the home stretch.
We're nearly home. I can smell the Indian Ocean from here. It's really rewarding. You're into town. You're going to get your load off, hook up with family and friends.
At last, the end of the road's in sight for Macca and his $300,000 freight. On a lonely outback highway, 200 kilometres from the small town of Bowen, long-haul trucker Turbo's got trouble.
I gotta check that.
The 47-year-old's midway through his first run in a new truck. Hitting a 50-kilo kangaroo is drama he doesn't need.
Kangaroo went to dart off to the other side of the road at the last second. Changed his mind, straight back in and just copped him.
If his rig's taken damage, Turbo could face a repair bill he can't afford.
I'm starting to think he's taken out a brake booster.
The trouble couldn't come at a worse time. Since his previous truck died, Turbo's been fighting to stay in business.
I've had no money come in for 3 months. So that's 12 weeks of basically living on the poverty line.
With his livelihood at stake, he's dug deep into the red to buy a $90,000 prime mover.
What's riding on this is my family, my house, my name, everything.
He's en route to pick up a container of freight that's 12 weeks overdue.
It's a decent coin, this one. This is why it's going to be the start to kick it off again. I'm back on the horse. Now I've got to ride the horse.
But 200 kilometres from the nearest town, his run of bad luck looks set to continue.
Look, I love kangaroos, but bloody kangaroos. Now my biggest concern is, what other damage have I done? I'm actually hoping that I haven't chewed up any tyres, because I know that there was a load of smoke coming out of them. Because I tried to avoid it, the tyres have grabbed. I'm just lucky I've got no weight on it. It hasn't actually made the tyre flat from where it's locked up. Brakes are all good.
There's no major damage. But Turbo's not got off scot-free.
Bent all that, knocked all the grill out, ripped the chunk out of me step. That's all supposed to be attached, and there's a big piece missing out of it now. Not happy, but it happens.
The repair bill won't be cheap, but on these roads, wildlife is a constant threat.
Getting kangaroos a part of life in Australia. I've just got to sort of learn to take a teaspoonful of cement and harden up.
As dusk falls, Turbo needs to stay sharp. This is the most dangerous time on outback roads.
This time of night, I'm starting to have a few little concerns that we're going to have a few more mishaps before the end of the night.
After 3 months of hell, this run was supposed to get Turbo back on his feet. If he hits another animal, it could be a knockout blow. While a 50-kilo adult could damage Turbo's truck, for other drivers, it could be deadly.
The problem with hitting the road is you can actually shoot that kangaroo across into that other vehicle and cause that other vehicle to have fatal car accident.
As night falls, the roads are littered with roos.
Oh, they're slowing down.
It's a nervous time. But finally,
Bastard. Thank God I'm here now.
Turbo's safe. By morning, he's arrived at his pickup, a container owned by a very patient customer.
3 months the container's been sitting in the paddock here. Val's got all her personal effects in it, who's the customer. She's waited 3 months for me to get here. So that's loyalty. So now I've got to bust me backside and get it through to her. This is the most important thing, the one that's going to kick me off again.
The 8-ton load will have to be craned onto Turbo's truck. It's a delicate operation.
Can we boom down?
And there's a problem. The container's badly balanced.
Yeah, but it's all down one end.
Loading won't be easy.
I'll watch ya.
If it's not done right, it could smash into Turbo's $40,000 hired trailer, damaging its precious contents. It's 130 kilos of trucker versus 8 tonnes of freight.
Just gotta watch the crane, because at the moment we're both running blind here. I can't see trailer or nothing.
On a job that's already 3 months overdue,
Getting out of my reach.
running up a hefty damage bill would be disastrous.
Go up just a touch. Righto. Can you come back this way just a touch? Hang on, mate. All right, go down. Down. Container's on, so that's good. Good to get out of Dodge.
At last, Turbo can hit the road for the 980-kilometre trip to Normanton. But his good mood doesn't last long.
I hate this frigging coast road with a passion.
A dawdling driver's pushing Turbo's rageometer into the red.
We're in a 100k zone and we're doing 80 kilometres an hour. And it's all over the frigging road, that car too.
With his load already late, Turbo doesn't want to waste another minute. A clear road, and it's time to make his move. But suddenly, the erratic driver hits the gas.
Now it's speeding up to stay beside me.
Turbo's stranded on the wrong side of the road. To get past, he'll have to floor his truck. Just in time, he's clear. But minutes later, the same car races by and halves its speed.
Drives like an idiot and then overtakes me and a few other friggin' people.
After all his troubles, Turbo now has to deal with a dueling driver.
I swear to God, he's gonna play games. Wanna play games, mate? I'll play games there. Idiots, eh? They wonder why they have accidents.
With the driver and 3 days of bitumen finally behind him, the next 400 kilometres is on dirt roads.
Woo-hoo! My country, my road, it's all mine now. Good old Outback Australia.
But Turbo's love of the open road doesn't last long. With the dirt come millions of bruising corrugations, giving Turbo's truck a hammering.
The conditions of the road have actually gotten a lot rougher. It's actually shaken apart the back of the trailer, so I'm going to pull up and fix it.
Any damage to his hired trailer could sink Turbo even further into debt.
Oh, easy fix.
Fortunately, it's just a loose tail light.
Fixed, Outback style.
As the dirt turns back to bitumen, Turbo's almost on the home straight. For the first time in 3 months, things are looking up. But suddenly, he's got company.
Local boys just pulled us up.
There's infringement notices if you exceed your period of drive time. If you go over by more than 1.5 hours, you must go to court.
Officers want to check that Turbo's been taking his required rest breaks. If he hasn't, he could be taking a long one, without his truck and facing a large fine.
In all honesty, sometimes I don't read that stuff because there's been some things said, oh, you can do this and do this. And then you read on and it goes, oh, but you can't do this. But hang on, it said it did here.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10, 11, 12. You can't be in excess of that 12.
I know there was one I did go over, but... Or is it that one there?
It's 11.5. You're doing it right. Obviously, otherwise we'd be having a chat. So that's all good.
After 3,000 kilometres of hard grind, finally he can meet his client in Normanton.
How you doing, Bear?
And not a moment too soon. The McKay's house move is a 1950s 3-bedroom bungalow, which has been lovingly restored. The new owner wants it transplanted 220 kilometres north to a bush block.
Looking down over the creek area there.
First task, knock out the supporting stumps. With 35 tonnes resting on them, it's a risky job. Take them out in the wrong order and the whole lot could come crashing down. Upstairs, the boys are busy lowering the roof to a street-legal 5.2 metres. Now to get the trailer under. Ben is the eyes at the back of the truck and can steer each axle independently.
Right, mate, when you're ready.
Guiding the trailer into its precise position.
See, we've made our hole. I've spun the steels. They're going to act as the supports now for the house.
The hydraulic trailer is lifted 3 metres to take the weight of the house.
Just have all your brakes on, bro. Work like a charm.
With the house teetering on its metal supports, Ben takes out the final stumps. As each one goes, the house becomes more unstable. Ben needs to act quickly. But now he's got another problem. Above him is an unsecured 35-tonne house. Ben needs his bogged-down bobcat to knock out the remaining 2 stumps. Only then can he shore up this heavy and precarious load. Ben wastes no time getting the rest of the supports down. The house is now in a shaky position.
It's only really steels, 2 steels holding the whole house up at the moment, so get some more supports under it and get it to how I want it and take a bit of the stress off the old girl.
The exterior walls are heavy and the extreme overhang makes the house easy to tip.
Righto, mate. Bring it around half. Hold up.
To secure the load, the boys need to reposition their trailer under the narrow side of the house.
Yep, nice and easy, mate. Whoa. Just follow that gutter. Whoa. Yeah, just for the fact it's so wide, you know, it's nearly 12.5 metres wide, so you can't take that down any roads.
Temporary supports take the full 35 tonnes.
I'll get this trailer out, we'll f*** off and get it back on the trailer as fast as I can.
The truck circles the block
You come back from the side street here, back it in from there.
and moves into position under the side of the house.
Whoa.
They're safely loaded, but there's one more delay. They can't move until after midnight, when there's less traffic, but also less visibility.
Roll it back into the block, mate, off the road from everyone and get away from these power lines and go home and have some sleep. Fingers crossed everyone goes well tonight.
In the black of night, with 2 police escorts and 2 pilot cars, the brothers are finally ready to thread their 9-metre wide load through suburban streets.
So it's 2 a.m. now. Our permit runs out at 8, so we've got to get through Gympie by 6. So yeah, we should really hook in, get out of here.
Like that, mate. Just take it as wide as you can.
They're on a tight schedule, but you can't rush a job like this.
You're on, mate.
With no room for mistakes,
As you are, stay straight.
they crawl under electricity lines.
Jesus Christ, Jimmy, get your job right, mate.
Hitting live wires is how their dad got electrocuted.
Start creeping to me, creep to me. Like that, stay like that.
And neither brother wants to follow in Dad's footsteps.
As you are, stay straight. Come back to you and tree this side. Yeah, you're up and now. It'll start coming out, Jimmy. Straighten up, mate. You're up, bro.
They make it onto the road, but that's just the first of many obstacles.
That first tree there, when you come to the light, it's a little low.
Yeah, if you can stop them down there, I'll shoot down the wrong side. Let us know when you're ready.
Yep.
We've got these trees up ahead of us, so we'll cross onto the wrong side of the road, down to the next set of lights, and then get back on the right side. So I'm just waiting for these cars to shoot through. We'll be on our way.
Hey, mate. Back and come far. You're up, mate. Keep going, baby. Need it. What, jump your island, eh, or what? Yep, definitely.
From the wrong side of the road, they need to cross a raised curb to get back onto the right side.
Gonna jump over it, Luke. Whoa.
They're stuck.
You high enough, Benny? Yeah, I just lifted up, bro.
Ben calls on the trailer's hydraulics to inch the house higher.
Oh, mate, do you want? Hard over me. Stay like that, straight. Leave it high enough to go this rail. Keep going. You're up, mate.
This detour to avoid trees has cost them precious time.
Time's against you and so's everything else.
At least now they're free of the suburbs.
Yeah, so we're on the highway now, so good run up to Gympie. So if we don't get through Gympie by 6 o'clock, they'll pull us up just before Gympie and make us stay there.
They need to make up time on the wide open road.
20 past 3. Oh, yeah, we need to really hook in.
But tonight
Roadworks.
is not their night.
Pain in the ass. This must be line marking or something.
In 3.5 hours, their oversized permit expires. Then they'll be forced to take their massive load off the road.
All right, we're good to go, mate. Just crawl through.
These roadworks have chewed up half an hour.
Can't believe they stopped us today.
But ahead, they're expecting much worse. Outside Gympie, a new freeway is under construction, causing more delays.
There's a big set of roadworks goes for fucking Ks and Ks and Ks. Yeah, that's what's going to chew up our time pretty much, is going through there. Yeah, sun's coming up. We're pushing for time now, you know, like it's 20 to 5. We haven't even got to the roadworks yet. Getting close, I'll give you that.
The boys now have daylight to work in, but they're hitting the toughest part of their journey.
I'm just coming into the start of the roadworks, mate. That sign on the left has to come out too.
The race is on.
Going to you. Oh, baby, native. Yeah, mate. All right. The roadworks, pain in the ass. I've 2 signs down on the left-hand side here too, Luke. Oh, Benny. Right over me, mate. Right over. Right in your pole? Yeah. Back to me.
They need to make the town of Gympie by 6 a.m.
We've got a long way. We're only at the start of it. Right, mate?
It's a painfully slow journey.
Yeah, this is our biggest drama, the roadworks, so...
With the last of the obstacles in the rear view mirror, Rob can finally put his foot down.
Down to you, Benny.
They've got 40 minutes to get 50 kilometres. But this timber and tile bungalow was never built to travel at 80 kilometres an hour.
It's pretty much 12 to 6.
With 12 minutes left, they need a clear run through town. Not a dump truck blocking the road.
How's you got, Benny?
You can't ride over your trucks right up against it, bro.
With 50 tonnes of momentum behind them, the smallest collision could wreak havoc on the truck and house.
You just run that line, mate, you'll miss him. You got a foot on him?
It's a delay they didn't need. If they miss their deadline, they'll be told to park the house and organise another permit. A process that can take days. And now ahead, a low bridge.
Mate. Yep.
At 5.2 metres, the house is too high to fit under.
Once you go round the whole loop, let them all pass.
But this off-ramp is so steep that the house risks sliding off the back. The only way up is to level the house out with the trailer's hydraulics.
Now, I want you to get up to speed to make up door.
They're up the ramp, but now just 5 minutes until the curfew.
How much traffic is there, Benny? So they haven't told us to stop yet, and it's pretty much 6.
But the police are letting them continue, for now. With only 5 kilometres to go, and on borrowed time, the boys are praying for a smooth run.
They can still pull us up here.
Any problems, and the police are likely to enforce the curfew.
Right now we're going through Gympie. Borderline, mate. Come on, mate.
They're through.
It's definitely good to be at Gympie, that's for sure.
But this journey is far from over.
Hey, bro. Not looking forward to what's coming up.
Yeah, man.
At 5 times the width of an average family car, this is anything but a relaxing country drive.
We're 9 metres wide, and there's spots in there where it's like 9.1 metres between trees. It could all turn to shit real quick, so... Hiya, mate.
Rob is depending on his brother to guide him through.
Straighten up. All right, mate, back to me. Hiya, mate.
The smallest miscommunication could have devastating results to the house and to the McKay name.
Get going to me. You couldn't do it without someone you trust. Like, after time, I know what Benny's thinking before he does it, and he's the same with me. You know, we've been doing it a long time together, so...
The forest is closing in.
Go truck is going down.
As expected, you know, I knew it was going to be tight. It didn't disappoint, so...
So far, so good. Don't want to it at the end.
But ahead, the size of the load is the least of their worries. It's the weight.
These are these shitty old bridges. Look at that.
Another bridge further up has got Rob worried.
They got no weight limit on them, but they don't look that great. No.
The bridge builders could never have imagined that one day it would have to take the weight of a 3-bedroom bungalow.
Hopefully they don't collapse.
bridges behind them, they're almost home.
Oh, mate, be glad when we get it off. You know, you always get a sense of achievement, you know, like once it's there and it's done, and everyone will be happy, the owner especially. Open that gate on the left.
The final location for the house is in this paddock. A lift of the trailer and they should be clear to drive straight in. If it wasn't for this tree.
Have to lift it up, Barry!
They call on all the trailer's power to edge the house sideways and as high as it will go. They're over.
What, mate, unload and get the back out of here.
On the home straight, the owner arrives.
There you go, mate.
He's concerned about the final location for the house.
About 2 inches of rain, but as you can see.
Yeah, I was a bit worried when we were coming through there.
Recent rain has waterlogged the ground, right where the house needs to sit.
So these are your new holes, so you want it square. Yeah. Yeah, take it hard, bro.
As Rob and Ben try and move the house into the correct position, disaster strikes. The ground is collapsing under the 35-ton weight. This 3-bedroom house is bogged.
Backwards or forwards? Backwards. Gas it.
They're out. But only just. All the wheels are chopping up the paddock, making it nearly impossible to position the house where the owner wants it.
Hard left.
Ben convinces Rob to try again. Back where they started. Rob needs a brainwave.
Yeah, we're just a bit bogged, so we'll just use the ram on the turntable to just pull it forward. Basically, just suck the trailer up to the truck.
With the truck locked in position, they're counting on the hydraulics to drag the trailer out.
Unbogged.
Job done.
Central Australia. A road building crew are putting the finishing touches to a stretch of Outback track.
We set up camp in September last year, so yeah, 6 months it's been here now, just doing 10 k's of road construction.
The Black Cat contractors have finished the job and are moving on.
It's 85 kilometres to the next job site, which is a little community of Arayonga. There we're extending an airstrip for the Royal Flying Doctor Service.
Building roads, or in this case, airstrips, is a massive undertaking, requiring a mountain of gear. And when you're in the middle of nowhere, the only way to do it is bring everything with you.
It is a portable town, yeah, it's virtually got everything ready to go. 30 people can stay here for as long as they like.
Which makes the task of moving it all almost as big as the task itself.
When the job's finished, we just pick the whole camp up, put it on the back of the trucks and send it down the road.
8 accommodation units, a toilet block, a camp kitchen and mess, generators and machinery. It's up to remote trucking specialist Brad Duckworth to shift it all.
Big house move, yeah. Fortunately, we don't have to pack all the furniture into the boxes, it's already done.
Making the job tougher, Brad's route is in bad shape. And with every pass of his road train, it'll deteriorate more.
Fall into the trap of just cruising along, thinking, nah, we're right, and then all of a sudden it's all wrong.
Brad's got 6 days to pack up the camp, drive the 900 kilometres total distance, and unload it all. There's no time to waste. The forks on the loader are too big. Brad's got 10 buildings he needs to move. And now, no way of picking them up.
If we jam it in there, we won't be able to get it back off, so we'll just have to work on another plan. I'll have to drop the forks off and hook some chains on and try and lift it up with one end of the forks and back underneath it.
He's going to drag, then lift the building using chains. First up, lose the forks.
Just trying to find out which switch unhooks the forks.
Easier said than done.
Quick coupler. Here's that one. We got him.
Next, a 7-ton rated chain tied from the loader to the building. It's an ingenious but time-consuming solution.
Yeah, I was hoping that it would go a little bit smoother than this. It's going to make a fairly big week out of it. Righto, steady as she goes.
While the first building's on, Brad gets some bad news.
So we just received word that we haven't received the permits yet. So every piece of equipment we have to move out there, we need a permit for to put it on the Aboriginal land.
No permits means no go. Thankfully, the one permit he does have is for the building he's just loaded.
Yeah, that's it for now. We'll just sort of have to wait and see, wait for the permits to come through.
And the complications don't end there. The trailer for the loader doesn't have the right coupling to be towed behind Brad's other trailers. Before he can unload, he'll have to come back and collect his loader separately.
We have to ferry it backwards and forwards in between each run. Righto, let's go check out what this road's like. From here we've got about 85 k's. I think there's 30 k's of bitumen and then the road will get pretty rough from there.
28 years of hard trucking have taught Brad to respect what lies ahead.
You can sort of drive for 300 or 400 kilometres and hardly see a person or another car or even a house for that matter. There's not too many people that can just slip out and give us a hand if we do get stuck anywhere.
And now, his first test.
Oh, looks like we're coming to the end of the bitumen seal here, so we'll be starting into the roadworks on the dirt. It looks pretty sandy too, so we'll have to watch our traction. They drop us down off the side of the new road, so nobody does any underlying damage before they get the seal down on it. It's fairly soft going here. See how we go around through here.
His revs are dropping. His truck's losing speed.
Losing traction. Yeah, I just put the diff locks in to give us a bit more traction. Yep, just dragging through here.
Clear of the soft sand, but not clear of trouble.
Yeah, we've just come out of the roadworks. It's, yeah, now the corrugation will kick off here and start to get worse as we go.
To move an entire workers' camp, Brad needs to tackle this stretch 10 times, damaging the road more with each pass.
Yeah, it's starting to chop up a bit through here.
After 90 kilometres, Brad has finally made it to the airstrip at Arayonga, the site for the new camp.
I just unhook the trailers and drop them here. It'll be the best spot to leave them for tonight till I get back in the morning with this loader.
Before he can unload the building, Brad needs his loader. That means a return trip across the bumps. Again. Next morning, Brad's collected his loader and is heading back to the airstrip. As predicted, the road has deteriorated.
Starting to get a bit torn out on the edges of the road here with all the traffic running off the sides here.
With a lighter load, Brad powers through the rough sections. But as he closes in on the new campsite, an old worry is weighing on his mind.
Hopefully the land council permits and all come through shortly so we can get a bit of a crack on with it.
Without the permits, Brad can't move any more gear. And now, more dramas.
Run a bit tight to that other trailer there. I'll just have to get out and check it. Hit I bent it all. The whole thing. Scratched me trailer. It goes from good to better. Just taking all the paint off the side of the trailer. I've never put a scratch on this truck in 2.5 years.
A moment's inattention.
It's not good at all. The bosses won't be happy.
And Brad has collided with the parked trailer.
Yeah, it was pretty tight coming around there, yeah. I just took my eyes off for a second watching the other side, and here's what it is now. I'll have to unravel it all and get back around out of the road.
The worst of the damage is this bent mudguard, pressing into the tyre.
Pull that back away from that wheel so at least we've got a bit of clearance here. I don't know if it'll straighten right up. Eyes off the ball for 1 minute and look what happens.
One problem fixed.
Yeah, it's better, eh?
Now Brad needs to check he has clearance to move the rest of the camp.
Yeah, well, what's the go? These, any sign of these permits come through yet, or? No, still nothing, eh?
It's the killer blow to a jinxed job.
There's no point me loading anything else up at this point then. We'll just have to lay idle and see how we go.
Without the permits, the community of Arayonga will have to keep waiting for their new airstrip. For Brad, it's just part of being an Outback trucker. He's been moved onto another job, 900 kilometres away.
I feel like I'm moving out.
With his current run of luck, he's not taking any chances.
Better take most of his stuff though. Something happens or a breakdown out there.
Veteran trucker Steve Graham is racing to assemble his road train before nightfall.
I'm going to hook onto this trailer now. That's part of the load, the steel, the structural steel that we're taking across.
Steve's due to leave on an urgent long-haul delivery.
Plan is to go from here to Alice Springs, about 2,700 kilometres away we go.
But at the last minute, there's a problem.
I've got no free travel on this clutch.
His clutch isn't disengaging properly.
And where I've got to go and what I've got to put this road train through, it makes me nervous. Always some bloody last-minute thing.
His challenge now, track down a mechanic.
Chad, where are you now?
At over 4,000 kilometres, it's a gruelling slog through the guts of the Outback. Along tracks that destroy trucks.
That's the tyre.
9 months ago, Steve's steer tyre exploded at 100 kilometres an hour, demolishing the front end of his truck and injuring his shoulder.
It took a bit over a kilometre to pull the road train up, and for that kilometre, I was keeping this damn thing on the bitumen. I didn't want to go out there in the bush. Of course, me hanging onto it, it blew the tendons off my shoulder.
Steve endured months of painful rehabilitation.
I had the shoulder surgery. My shoulder's been, you know, that wasn't much fun.
While his truck endured expensive repairs.
That's something to cry over, you know. You think you blow a steer tyre and that's it. Well, that was $42,000 worth of repairs at the panel beaters, plus excesses, plus. It was about $60,000 for a blown tyre.
Now, after 4 months off the road, Steve's set for his Outback comeback.
This is the first big trip through the Great Central Road. I've got a triple, so there's a bit of work in it. The only sad thing about the whole thing, the thing that I am going to miss, my little dog Teeny got killed the other day. Teeny won't be with us. So yeah, I won't enjoy that part of it, but that's life.
Steve's ready to move on, but he can't go far without fixing his clutch.
Righto, mate. Thanks. See ya. That's Chad, my mechanic mate, who's going to adjust that clutch for us now. He's coming to meet me. We just arranged a meeting spot. Chad's there waiting, which is good to see. He's going to get under there and adjust the clutch. So I might have to do a few false starts with the truck to try and spin it around to a position where he wants the clutch set up.
To start his engine, instead of a battery, Steve's truck uses compressed air.
Again? Oh, I went past.
It's a reliable system, less prone to breaking down. There's just one hitch.
Bit more.
It only works when there's plenty of air in the system.
Bit more.
I have to start it, mate.
Yeah, all right.
Oh,
No air. No go.
you got a compressor on board, Chad?
Nah.
You're joking. I was running the clutch around to get to the lock so Chad could get the lock tab out. And I was getting low on air, and I just did it too many times without starting the truck up and building my air up. So now I don't have enough air to start the truck to build the air up.
Time for a bush repair in the streets of Perth.
Plug that in there and I'll hook up some steer tyres. A child's caper. I'm robbing air from my steer tyres to start the engine, and then when the engine's running, I'll pump my steer tyres back up. And quite frankly, I feel like a dope that this is even happening. That's the air start pressure there. When the needle stops moving, I know that it's equalised. Right, I'm going for it, mate. The truck's building its own air up with its own compressor, and I'll re-pump my tyres up, and I'll be good to go when Chad's finished.
Put it in gear.
Bloody beautiful. Thank you, mate. Job's done.
No worries.
Clutch fixed and air pressure restored, Steve can finally get going. Next morning, he's now half a day behind delivering 100 tonnes of building materials. Steve can't afford any more slip-ups. But things don't look promising for the road ahead.
Yeah, they're still forecasting rain for the western desert areas, and I can see cloud build-up up there already. My biggest worry is that Central Road is so good at the moment that the shires are going to be desperate to protect it, and they'll close it. They'll close it at the first drop of rain. Because they've spent so much money and time and machinery on that road this year. And if they shut the road, then it becomes a huge issue. I'll be bugging.
After 500 kilometres, Steve pulls over for a routine inspection of his load.
I can smell diff oil. God, me. I absolutely don't believe it. I can smell diff oil, I can see diff oil, I've got a wheel seal gone. There's a line of oil spraying up on the bottom of the mudguard there. A wheel seal gone and this brand new diff.
Blowing a seal on a drive wheel is a serious problem.
We're going to have to get to Mount Magnet, get a mechanic, get this hub off and get this sorted.
It's a major blow to Steve's return to the road.
There I was worried about rain, now I've got to worry about mechanical problems. I just don't believe this sometimes. Righto, mate. It's all brand new, as I said. I've had a huge amount of trouble with bearings, mate. A huge amount.
The initial inspection doesn't look good.
That's failed. Something's failed under there. Yep, she's We've got to get in there and see what the damage is. I've already rung the biggest customer, MRN. They need the freight. So once again, the pressure's down the end of that telephone. How long will it hold you up, Steve? As soon as there's an issue on the road, it goes back to how long will this keep you? The good news is I'm not seeing a lot of shiny metal in there. That's the good news. It could be a nightmare of a nightmare and huge money, but at this point in time, fingers crossed, I'm just looking down the barrel of either a loose or a replacement bearing.
The real clues lie buried deep inside the truck's drivetrain. It's a test for Steve's repaired shoulder. The mechanic has found the cause. As Steve thought, it's a blown bearing seal.
The bearing caps don't go all the way home, and when you're driving along, they fret and lock themselves up, and then you lose your bearing tension and do your seal.
Replacing a seal should be a simple fix.
But we can't fix it without parts, so now we're looking for parts. Fingers crossed he's got one.
So the seal's a bit tight.
He's out of luck.
Civvy hasn't got a seal on him that fits this truck.
Steve could be stuck for a day, waiting for a new part.
He's going to go for a drive around town, see some of his mates, and just see if we can jag one in town here this afternoon. If we can, it gets me rolling in the next couple of hours or so. The weather's picking up. That rain that we thought was around is definitely around. I just hope this is not happening out in the desert.
After waiting 6 hours for a replacement part, Steve Graham is close to moving again.
Bad news is I've got customers complaining in Alice Springs already. I've rung them earlier and said I'm a day late. It's as simple as that. That you'll crawl over broken glass to get the job done. Everything depends on you.
We're good to go.
Finally, he can get rolling.
No worries at all, mate.
Much appreciated, Copper. I'm glad you're here.
Safe trip, mate.
After a short night's rest, Steve's looking to make up time. As he heads into the desert, his worries about rain are evaporating.
I think it's about 40 degrees out there.
Replaced with concerns about the heat.
My gearbox is running up at over 100 degrees Celsius, so I've just dropped it back a bit to 85, 90.
Ahead, the tarmac will give way to the dust and grinding dirt of the Great Central Road. One last chance to fill up before the long haul.
I'm getting every last drop in to get me across the desert.
$2,000 worth of diesel should do the trick.
I've got about 1,800 kilometres to go to Alice Springs, 1,200 kilometres of hard dirt. It'd be nice to be sitting around a campfire tonight with a cold beer and a decent feed and not have to enjoy my evening with a mechanic fixing something on my truck. I'm going to pull up just here. There's the sign coming up.
On the doorstep to the Great Victoria Desert, Steve Graham needs to deflate his tyres for the 1,200 kilometre dirt road battering ahead. For Steve, that means stopping at a place still raw with emotion.
And I will tell you one thing, I don't like this truck bay, I don't like it at all. This is where my dog Teeny got a bait, right here. Right here, a week ago.
Meat baits laced with 1080 poison are laid across the Outback to control feral dogs, foxes and pigs.
Somewhere right here she got that bait.
Teeny was unlucky to find one.
That's probably her tracks I can see over there still from where there was a puddle the other day. Anyway, I'll let these tyres down and we'll get on with the job. I don't like this spot at all. And there's my dog's tracks there.
Few jobs are lonelier than that of an Outback trucker. Losing Teeny, Steve lost a good mate. As Steve settles into the road, he's hoping to leave his run of bad luck behind him.
Well, I'm on the dirt now, I'm on the dirt proper, I'm on the Great Central Road.
Stretching over 1,000 kilometres, it's one of Australia's longest and most isolated dirt roads. But you wouldn't know it today.
Copy, mate. We're just coming around you.
Yeah, roger, bring it through. It's all go out here this morning. I can't believe the traffic. We'll have to get lights soon.
Rush hour over. Steve moves across to the other side of the road.
I am driving on the wrong side of the road deliberately.
Driving like this may seem a dangerous move. But out here, it's the exact opposite.
The wind's blowing from the northeast. So what I'll be doing is I'll be driving on what appears to be the wrong side of the road most of today. But that's because all the dust, and there's huge amounts of dust blowing off this road train. So people will probably be passing me on the wrong side of the road, which is just what we do out here as a courtesy to each other, rather than be driving through the dust and possibly having an accident. Now, I wonder if he'll do it. It's amazing how many brainless most people are. No, he's a good boy. He's crossed over to the right to get his dust out of my air filters.
Steve's a day behind schedule and trying his best to peg back time. But up ahead lies a long, steep climb.
There's a little jump up here. It doesn't look much, but with a triple on you, it usually gets corrugated and you've got to go back about 4 gears in 50 feet and it just slams you right back to nearly dead stop.
He needs to get his gear changes right or risk stalling on the hill, causing more work and more time.
It means winding down legs, dropping trailers, pulling them over one by one. Well, that's excellent. I had a good run over the jump up today, thank goodness for that. I'll pull up and check my gear. This job's all about delivering the freight. I've got a few things starting to move. And the downside is the next 200 Ks is the worst 200 Ks of the whole journey. So if the freight's going to move around and shift, it'll shift on this road.
Running late, with a load urgently needed.
This bit of road is always a mongrel. This will test you. So we got to take what comes, I suppose. 200 kilometres left of it.
This road is doing all it can to smash Steve's schedule to pieces.
Last chance this road's got to throw a bit of rubbish at me, and it's doing it. No matter how old you get, you don't get used to corrugation. Just turned onto the Stewart Highway at Earl Dunder, and I'm on the last run into Alice Springs now.
It's been 8 days and 4,000 Ks, but he's now closing in on his destination. After 4 months off the road, it's another job well done for this Outback legend.